Good afternoon, guys. I wanted to make a quick video this afternoon. It's a nice Saturday outside to kind of just tell you guys about some things that you should probably need to know before you buy a Dodge Charger. And keep in mind, these are things that I took into consideration before I bought mine. And the reason being is with a Charger RT, you start adding options on there like the beats, the leather, the nav. It really starts adding up, and honestly, you'll be in SRT 8 392 price range. You have a $40,000 Charger before you know it. So I just want to kind of educate you guys on a couple of different options that there are out there, and a couple of things that I didn't realize about the car whenever I bought it. So first things first, I'm going to start over here with the Alpine stereo system. So the Alpine stereo system comes standard on this car, and I think the optional is the Beats stereo system. And just from my experience with Chrysler products in general, they used to come with the Infinity sound system, and this Alpine stereo system is really awesome, and it's almost like there is a subwoofer in the back. But keep in mind, I think that upgrade is $1,000. If it's anything like the other Chrysler products that I've owned, and I took this into consideration, the door speakers themselves, it doesn't matter if they're Beats, it doesn't matter if they're Alpine. If they come from the factory, they're going to be cardboard. And typically, if you jam out kind of like I do, or my wife does, they'll be blown probably by the time it's paid off. It's typically lasts about 4 or 5 years. And so even with the upgrade to the Beats, you're still going to have that same issue. And the other thing is too, is for $1,000, you can change out these door speakers to something that's really good, like a JBL. And honestly, you can definitely get a subwoofer box incorporated in that as well. Now, that's probably if you're doing all the work yourself. But even if it does cost like a couple $100 more to get it installed, I'd still recommend doing that versus upgrading to the Beat stereo system. Some of you guys might flame me for saying that, but that's just my opinion on it. And that's just one of the things that I took into consideration. If I did upgrade the stereo system, which the Alpine is fine, I probably will eventually blow the speakers out in it. I'd be willing just to pay, the door speaker cost, which, door speakers for this car be $500-600, and then a subwoofer for the back and the wiring. So you're looking at probably right at $1,000 for an actual good system, and one that you can pick as well. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about too is these seats. I've had a couple people get in the car and be like, man, Justin, why did you get cloth? Cloth is, it's old, and, everything has leather in it now. Well, that may be true. And then obviously with the pets, you can kind of see the cat hair and the dog hair sticking to it. And so, the big thing with that is, they offer a cat skin leather seat kit for this car. I want to say it's like $1,000. It may be less than that. And then, of course, the installation is they're probably going to charge you 3, 4, 5 hours worth of install on it. Just kind of give you a shot of the back seat of it too. And honestly, I have sat in a couple cars that have got cat skin leather seats in them. And once again, I might get flamed again for saying this. You guys can look all over the forums. Even the Hellcats have got leather seat problems. I think I saw one where the leather was bunching up right here just from sitting on it, and the cat skin is it's just a way better material. So for me, my wife talked about it, and if I want to upgrade the leather, instead of paying, I think it, I don't know exactly what it is. I imagine it's probably $1,500 to $3,000 upgrade to upgrade the seats in these cars, to get the car with that from the factory. I'd just rather pay for the cat skin leather seats. It's a better quality material. These seats are already heated as they are, and just pay someone to do a good quality job on it. So that's one of the things that I can't talk today. One of the things that you should take into consideration when you're purchasing this car. Another thing too, guys, is I realize a lot of us are on a budget as well. So not everybody can go out and maybe get a brand new Dodge Charger or 392 or a Hemi Scat Pack. So one of the things I also want to tell you guys about too is, in my research, I thought about, it's like, well, hey man, maybe I can go pay cash for a 2007, a 2008, 9 Hemi Charger RT and just be done with it. Well, the problem with that is, guys, is In 2007, I'll say 2009 range, the Hemis were notorious for dropping valve seats. And so what that is it's a seat that the valve rides on when it opens and shuts, and it's machined to a certain tolerance to essentially be pressed up into the cylinder head. And so what Dodge did in their infinite wisdom in the 2007 and 2009 is they didn't have enough seat pressure. So after several different heat cycles and whatnot, the car would actually eventually drop the valve, and we all know what happens when a car drops a valve. It destroys the motor. So guys, just keep that in mind if you're looking at an older one. And then the other thing I was going to say about the engine too is these motors are actually underrated. I've been on the forums for a while now, and most of these cars are dynoing about 350 real world horsepower, which really puts it probably close to about 400, 420 brake horsepower at the motor. So these really are equivalent to the 07, 08 SRT8 models with the 6.1. So that's just one thing that I want you guys to know about if you guys are looking at an older one. The other thing too, and I'll probably make another video on this specifically because it kind of bothers me, is the differential in this car. So in 2015 and 2016, you could actually get what was called a road and track package. And so what it essentially came with it came with a positive rear differential, or we call it a limited slip. And so after I bought this car, sitting at the stoplight, and I was like, well, like anybody else, it's like, yeah, let's see if this thing will peel out. So peels out, initially leaves 2 marks, and then it only leaves 1, which tells me, and I later find out on the forum, that all the RTs 2017 and up come with an open differential. And this is a big deal because lots of guys are like, oh, okay, well, I can swap out the rear end to a limited slip. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You actually have to swap out the entire center section, which I believe is $1,800 to swap that out. And I think that may be for the piece alone. And some guys comment if I'm wrong on that, but it's something you guys want to consider, because, and I don't know why Dodge did that. You have a 400 horsepower car and then have a one-wheel burnout. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't seem like it's safe. But obviously that's something as a performance guy that I'll take into consideration whenever the lease runs up on this car. If I trade it in for a 392, or probably will end up just getting something different, maybe just because I'll have had the car for 3 years. But guys, those are just a few things that I wanted you guys to consider whenever you're buying one of these. You don't always have to get everything there from the factory. You can go out and outsource it in other places and get better quality for it as well. But anyways, thanks for watching.